Welcome back to another brand new episode of our project series. What do we have today? 2 prime developments, 1 powerful decision. What is this about, Waina?
So actually today we're going to talk about 2 projects that is launching in the same area at River Valley. It's called Promenade Peak and River Green. Both are actually within walking distance to Great Wall City, which is a beloved mall by a lot of us. You can actually find everything there. I think buyers will decide to choose between one or the other because they're launching on the same day, booking is on the same day. It's inevitable to pit them against each other. So today we're going to do an analysis to see, which one might be better for different buyers.
And both River Green and Promenade Peak, right? Previews date are on 17 July. Remember, if you have yet to secure a slot to view, right, do reach out to both of us.
Moses, since these are both prime areas, right, can you tell us more about these 2 locations?
Yeah, for sure. While both the projects, right, are so close to Great Wall City, right, it's interesting to note that while River Green is located in District 9, Promenade Peaks, however, is located just outside, and it is in fact District 3. But let's be honest, right, while there's a difference in its districts, right, the location is so close and has the same access to the amenities nearby as well. And let's be honest, I personally think that buyers wouldn't mind too much of the labels of district, though I must say that District 9 itself, right, is definitely more prestigious.
For sure.
Especially after we have watched our previous videos on Upper House and Opus, right, that we have came out with the analysis, you will definitely understand why it's still the more sought after and it's definitely the more expensive district itself. So River Green, right, one good thing about this has a direct access to Great Wall MRT. So we are basically located over here, right? And then Great Wall MRT is just here. So it's actually fully sheltered with its underground walkway from the mall, right? Past the MRT gantry all the way to exit 4 of the Great Wall MRT.
So at Promenade Peak, right, you're actually located just across Great Wall City. Okay, this is the location of Promenade Peak. So if you notice, Promenade Peak, although we are in between Great Wall and Havelock, the direct connection from Havelock, right, is actually towards this parcel, which I'll show you later. But it's actually just a short walk towards Great Wall across the bridge. I know when you look at the map, right, it looks like it's very far, but actually it's only about 2 minutes walk. Here say the developers are actually checking with the authorities if they can build a sheltered walkway. That will actually make it very convenient for them to access Great Wall because face it, this should be where you'll be getting all your amenities at. So let me show you the next slide where the actual connection of the MRT. Okay. This is Promenade Peak, right? There is actually a side fully sheltered entrance that will lead you towards the Havelock MRT, which is actually not at Great Wall but at Havelock, because when they tendered for this parcel, the developers were to build a sheltered walkway in order for all these residents here to enjoy. So they will have direct access to Havelock MRT instead of Great Wall.
For River Green, right, what's around the vicinity of it, right, is actually, as we have mentioned, Great Wall Mall itself is directly connected from the project itself. And one good thing about this project that it is actually 120 meters walks away from River Valley Primary School. And after that, right, if you want to dine yourself, have some dinner and all, you can dine at Robinson Quay, which is a 5 minutes drive. And if you feel more like a local delights and all, right, like having all those Atori or Hokkien Mee, all this, right, you can actually dine in at the Zion Riverside Food Centre, which is also 5 minutes drive away from the project itself, which is seamlessly connected towards all this area. And then if you happen to work in CBD area, you are minutes away over here. And then, like I mentioned, a fully sheltered walk from the project itself to Great Wall MRT.
So for Promenade Peak, it's like same but different, right? So what happens is that at Promenade Peak, you are actually located closer towards the Zion Food Centre. So you can actually go on foot and it's much nearer to get access to local food. It's like we said just now, 2 minutes walk to Great Wall City. And also I think that it's not too far off from Tiong Bahru Market, which is just a 3 minutes drive. So all in all, in terms of livability and access to local food and the market, Promenade Peak may be a little bit better in that sense. But then again, it is not fully sheltered to Great Wall as of now, but just to Havelock.
Moving on to River Green's developer information. River Green's location itself is actually located at 11 River Valley Green, and the district itself, as we have mentioned, District 9. So this is actually a 99 years from 2024. Then the vacant possession is 2030, and the expected legal completion is 2033. Then whereas for car park lots, right, we actually noted that there's 51% provision of car parks with a total of 269 car park lots, plus 3 accessible lots and 1 family lot itself. And Wing Tai being said, right, is actually a notable developer as well. So later on, right, I'll be sharing a bit more of what they have actually developed over the years.
So at Promenade Peak, it's also a 99-year leasehold similar to River Green. What we have is a District 3. So District 3 is actually, if you look at the map, right, we are really no different from, in terms of location. But it just so happens that this one is just outside the river, just slightly, and now it's at District 3. It has a plot ratio of 5.6. So this building is going to be way taller than River Green, and there are a total of 596 units. We did note that there are a total of 477 car park lot, which translate to be about 80%, which is actually really good considering that this project is in between 2 MRT stations. Of course, the developer is reputable and it's by All Green, and together with the architect DCA Architects as well as TW Asia Consultants for their engineer, and the main contractor is Wohab.
So moving on to River Green's developers, whatever they have developed, right, we noted that they have developed Novelle 18, which is at Ardmore area. This project itself is very beautiful, right, Rana? I think you have went there before as well.
Yeah, it's a very nice project at Ardmore area.
Yeah, and also, right, we also have the Lakeside Residence and also the M itself. All these are tastefully designed by the architects and the developer themselves as well.
Moving on to Promenade Peak, they have developed Juniper Hill, Royal Green, as well as Avenue South residences.
So here are some examples of the River Green's artist impression. As you can see, this beautiful building over here, this is actually River Green. And when you enter the entrance, right, you'll be greeted by a very royal area, as you can see over here. The grand entrance is definitely very superb itself. And one thing to note, right, Wing Tai actually has a specialty, which is actually they designed the Stardust Pool area, right, as you can see over here. This is actually their signature, which in result, right, it is very beautiful during a night time.
So for Promenade Peak, we have a family pool on the left over here. So it's good for families to enjoy. It's actually located very near the 50-meter lap pool on the ground floor. And then as you can see, right, the facade of this building is actually just like a one tower looking at, it looks really very nice. And because of how tall we can build the building, right, we have very nice views. As you can see, the gym is located on level 43. It is a gym that you can oversee the very nice views around this area, as well as they have actually put in a lot of money into this gym. Yeah. So from my understanding, right, all these machines, right, are from the brand Symbio, and it costs up to be about 40,000 per equipment.
Wow, that's insane.
Yeah, so not many projects actually invest so much into their gym, so this is something of a highlight. They also do have a boxing arena. This is something that's quite rare, so I think fans of boxing and all the people who like to exercise, right, this is something, so it's something that's of a highlight for them as well. So of course we also have the function rooms at level 43 that you can overlook the skyline. So all this, right, because of the location and the place where we overlook the other buildings, we will show you later, you can actually look quite far out. It actually surpasses, so most of the buildings are like 20 plus floors. So at level 43, you already overlook a lot of the floors. And later, if you have a look, right, we have a sky pool here, Infinity Sky Pool. It's even higher than the one at MBS. So there's no need to go MBS anymore, you can enjoy your own Infinity Sky Pool above.
So here are the nearby prices within the two projects. We noted that there are a total of 4 plots that will be launching in the River Valley area. So first of all, right, it's actually River Green, which is the developer body at 1,324 per square feet per plot ratio, which is over here as you can see. Then next one, right, will be the River Valley Green, which is parcel B itself. The developer bidder and bought at $1,420 per square feet per plot ratio, which is located over here, just right beside and very near to River Green as well. And then for Zion Road, parcel A is located over here as you can see. And lastly, we also have Promenade Peak, which is the project that we are talking about today, is located over here. So both itself is bought at $1,202, and then Promenade Peak is $1,304 itself. Why not? Since River Green and Promenade Peak, right, are the first few launches here, don't you think that the prices are going to be more attractive?
Well, I think that because there's going to be 4 plots here, right, up and coming, and first being the River Green and Promenade Peak, I feel that developers are going to price very sensitively because with so much supply suddenly coming in, right? We counted there's about 2,335 units that's incoming based on these 4 plots. And you imagine as a developer, right? Would you want to price too high? Because you know that there will be choices. Is it too much supply? I don't really think so, because this area is still quite sought after, and after all, they're still near MRT and amenities, and if they price it right, I think it's going to be very attractive. Because as of the year 2023 in the URA master plan, we noticed that there has been a change in plot ratio from 3.8 to 5.6 for the areas at Promenade Peak, as well as the upcoming Grand Zion, which is at Zion Parcel B. So with that, right, we know that the government has planned for this to increase the supply, as well as, with the MRT, usually you notice, right, they will have more developments coming up. So this is one of it.
Moving on to River Green's unit mix, right, we noted that it ranges from 1 bedroom all the way to 4 bedroom itself. And you notice the 4 bedroom is actually smaller than most of the other projects over here. It is at 980 square feet. So all in all, right, it totaled up 524 units in total.
So at Promenade Peak, we actually have 2 types. We have the Promenade Suites collection as well as the Promenade collection. 81% encompass of all these units here, which is primarily the smaller units ranging from 1 bedroom plus study all the way to the 2-bed, 2-bath, as well as the 2+ study, and some of the smaller 3-bedroom compact units. What really differentiates them, right, is mainly because upper floors here onwards have private lift. So when you have the private lift, of course the price will really jump significantly. So we will go on later to explain what are the differences, especially in this area, because we feel that 81%, right, for people coming into this portion, typically it's for investment, or sometimes they are buying to stay for a while and thinking that they will flip it. Yeah, so I think it's more important to study these units properly, so that we go into this with our eyes wide open to make sure that you're not overpaying for something. Because right now what we have in the market is we have too much choice. We have a choice between River Green in various layouts and quantum, as well as Promenade Peak. So this is the part that we will go and focus on. Whereas we think for this area, right, really it's our own stay. For own stay, if you like the unit, right, you're not going to be two-faced by like 200,000 more just because you like or don't like certain things. So you will likely pay a little bit more just to make sure you buy something you like, because you are the one staying in it. And it also helps that these units are on the higher floors above 43, which means you will be able to enjoy the very nice views.
So for River Green site plan, as you can see over here, it is actually sheltered, fully sheltered from the entrance until the blocks. And one thing to note also, Cook and Connect, which is one of their highlights, with cooking facilities inside the function room itself. It is actually located over here, 17 and 18. And then for laundry wise, you can actually do it over here at number 21. This actually gives you the benefit of having industrial sized washing machine and dryer, so everyone can use for their bigger bed sheets or even ad hoc washing whatever is needed as well. And like you have a upper body, you can actually take them for a walk over here, which is at Pause and Run. Then lastly, the highlight is actually, like we have mentioned, this Stardust pool, which is located over here, which is Wing Thai signature. And it actually, right, one thing to note, right, it's like a shape like Singapore's river as well. So for River Green's facing, River Green is located over here. What's on the right is actually Yong An's Park. And then furthermore, towards the bottom left, we actually have the Trillium. And then furthermore, to the upper left-hand side is the Cosmopolitan. And right up at the north area is actually Rivershire, where it is very near to Orchard Road itself. Now we take a more in-depth of the view-wise. The north facing is actually over here, whereas as you know, right, River Green's the facing is actually over here, this type of facing. So east side, right, you are actually looking at Yong An's Park itself. So east is actually over here, you are looking towards here. And then whereas for the west facing over here, you are actually looking towards Great World City itself.
So moving on to Promenade Peak, because we are actually a very tall building, we actually have facilities on different levels. So at the Promenade Collection area, we have the 50-meter lap pool, which is over here. And we also have the 3 function rooms that can actually open up into one, and it looks really very grand. It's actually located underneath here. So if you actually go down to the show model and have a look, it will open up into a very grand function rooms, perfect for hosting guests. And over here is the family pool, as well as there are a lot of other water features. So on the 43rd floor for Promenade Peak, we'll have an outdoor fitness arena, gym, the gym that we mentioned with Symbio, and you know it's going to be really cool. There'll be a cross-training arena as well as boxing, a revitalizing pool, steam room, and a shower room. So everything is actually very compact on this floor based on a fitness purpose. So it's going to be very health-centric for this floor. As we move up to the top floor, which is the roof terrace, we will actually have the infinity pool. So like we said, right, this infinity pool, right, is going to be so cool. I can't wait for, like friends and family to go and have a look because, at MBS, it's really not easy. Unless you book a room, you will not be able to access the facilities. So this will definitely be a highlight for the residents here. So at Promenade Peak, it's quite north-south facing. So all the units will actually be facing towards Great World on the north, as well as south towards the other plot. As you can see, because of the way that it's facing, right, the SHOWFLAT is over here. This is actually earmarked as an educational site. So for units, some of the selected units, the bigger ones, will actually face towards this side and they will have some unblocked view. Over this side is the south view, which you can look towards MBS area in Sentosa. Over there, the units are also quite big. You have the 2+ study as well as the 1+ study. These are the units who will get to enjoy views towards the south. This view here is towards the Great World. And it's also the same view as where the infinity pool will be at. They've really thought about all these views and maximize it as much as possible.
Right.
So here is a picture that you can see of how it will look like from a drone view. So you can see this is towards the Great World. So imagine when you're swimming in the pool, right? This is what you're looking towards.
Everything's way lower than the infinity pool itself.
Yes, because Great World is actually at level 35. So this pool is actually on the roof of 63.
Yeah, so you actually get to enjoy all the
For
views
sure,
as well.
yes. It's super unblocked because the blocks here are all about 30+, 20+ floors. So we have the guide prices from the developers. For River Green, we are having a starting price of 1.2 mil and 2 bedrooms is 1.5. 2-bed premium 1.72, 3-bedroom 2.25 starting from, and 4-bedroom 2.8. But just to take note, right, because the sizes at River Green are slightly smaller, later we will go into detail to compare it in a better way, because sometimes we realize that the size at River Green, right, can get you 3 bedrooms, but it's actually a 2+ study at Promenade Peak. So all this will go in detail. So at Promenade Peak, 1+ study is going to cost you from a starting of 1.4 and 2-bedroom 1.8 up. 2+ study 2.1, and then 3-bedroom is about 2.7 up. 3-bedroom onwards, because of the private lift, right, you will notice that the price jump is actually more significant. Because when we did the price prediction, which will go on later, right, it really made a big difference because of the private lift. But then again, in this area, if you are to live in a bigger unit in this prime area, most of the buyers are actually looking for exclusivity. And then become private lift is a bonus. It's something that because you don't have it, they may not even select this project. So it's become quite important, and a premium that buyers of this caliber are willing to pay for. Yeah, so we are looking at 3.6 up, 4.4 for 4-bedroom, 6.2 million up for 5-bedroom.
So right now we'll be moving on to the comparison of the 1-beders itself. Waina and I have actually came up with this slide for your easier reference. So do refer back to this if you ever need a layout comparison, etc. For the purpose of this video, we will be using a Promenade's Peak 1+ study to compare against River Green's 1-bedroom, 1+ study and 2-bed to 1-bath itself. We'll be showing the layouts and estimated price per floor so that you have a better understanding of what you can actually purchase on the launch day itself. But if you are ever confused yet again, do reach out to us to assist you.
For Promenade Peak's 1+ study, what we notice is that they have the study located inside the master bedroom. You can actually use it as a walk-in wardrobe, of course as a study or as storage. So unlike the ones that's at the door, then you can't really use it as a walk-in wardrobe. But between these two layouts, right, we notice that the kitchen here is on the side, whereas this one here is on both sides. Here. So we feel that, this side actually gives you a bit more space. So for that reason, we will actually, if you were to choose a 1+ study at Promenade Peak, we will go with this unit type. And also, more importantly, there is ventilation in the master bath for this one, and strangely not for this one. So I think it's based on the location of the stack where they are actually positioned, which allows for them to have this ventilation. And I think it's quite important, if we were to compare apple to apple, and if the price doesn't differ too much on launch day, if they didn't do any price difference, then of course we will choose this one that has the ventilation.
And also one thing to take note, actually for 1-beders, it is very rare to have a ventilation window over there.
Usually because they're always right tucked in the middle of the stack, and it's kind of impossible. Maybe sometimes we see in the 2-bed, 1-bath occasionally, but definitely not 1-bedder. And we are looking at a starting price of about 1.42 million up, and to the high of 1.7. Because the price differs so much, because there's quite a lot of floors from level 2 all the way to 42, so like 40 floors. So what it means, right, with every floor there's a price difference, and as the spread is so big, as the booking day comes, right, we want to know that if you are going to buy at this price, should we buy at this price or should we maybe move and consider something else? And that's something very important for us to consider. Yeah, so by having all these plans in place, we will be able to know that when time comes, right, this price, this plan, which one should we go for? And please do reach out to us, because I think that's a very stressful situation to be in.
Exactly.
Yeah, so I think this is something that we can really help you with based on all this analysis done.
Okay, moving on for River Green's one bedroom, we actually noted that there are two layouts type for the one bed, one bath. So between these two, they are identical, but apart from that, the only difference is the aircon latch itself over here. So, and one more thing for this River Green, in the kitchen itself, both layouts are actually enclosable itself. And as you see, right, from the price trend over here, we noted for the average price of this is actually around 1.3 million itself. Moving on to River Green's one bedroom plus study, this is actually a 452 square feet at Stack 4 itself. And as you can see, the average price of it is actually 1.4 million, just slightly a bit more than compared to the one bedroom itself. And then with an additional study room, there is a dual access over here, as you can see, crossing over from the master bedroom to the master bath, then the study itself. So the study is, however, located at the entrance of the unit as compared to the other counterpart itself, which is in between the master bedroom and the bathroom itself. So right now we will be comparing Promenade's Peak and River Green's one plus study itself. Promenade's Peak is actually 527 square feet and River Green's is 452 square feet. So based on the average price for the mid-floor, as you can see over here, we are actually looking at approximately of 200k difference for the 75 square feet differences. If we are actually thinking of maximizing the rental yield itself, right, then the smaller unit type, right, might actually be the better choice itself.
I think that's where River Green shine, right?
Yeah.
In the sense that a lot of their units are built a bit smaller.
Correct.
So we're also going to compare 527 square feet Promenade Peak 1 plus study together with River Green's 2 bed 1 bath, which is also 527 square feet. So if you have a look, you notice that the study is located inside the master bedroom, and also the master bedroom is already slightly bigger compared to the 10 square meters at River Green. It means that they have a very livable, comfortable space, but it's at the expense of having another bedroom at River Green. So, it depends on what is your preference. But personally, we feel that for a difference of about 60 to 70k, I might go for the 2 bed 1 bath.
Right.
But the reason being, because if I wanted to reconfigure this place, because the walls are hackable, right? These two walls can be hacked. I can still reconfigure this space, and for a little bit more, it's a 2 bed 1 bath. If I were to rent it out, I can rent it out properly as a 2 bedroom unit, because 9 square meters is still a very decent common bedroom size, and you have dual entrance for this toilet as well. And you can see the kitchen, right, is also enclosable. So all these actually have very good characteristics of an investment unit. It's also dumbbell shaped, which means that you are not wasting any corridor space. All in all, right, this is actually a unit that ticks a lot of boxes. As an investor, for 527, right, that slight price difference would really justify a difference in terms of rental. Because right now, if you rent out here 1 bed and here is 2 bed, definitely it's a different price. But the size is exactly the same. So for that, we conclude and we will choose River Green as our top choice for 527 square feet. For the Promenade Peak 2 bed 2 bath, we actually have 5 different layouts. To be honest, they vary very slightly. They have very similar layouts, but only difference being at the kitchen and the entrance. So we go through it one by one. For the first one, we actually have an entrance here, right? Not much space to store your things, but we have a proper living room size, open kitchen, and 2 bathrooms and 2 bedrooms. There are no ventilation in these units. For this one over here, similarly, no ventilation. This is a no privacy entrance with a gallery kitchen. Then moving on, we are going to see the next one is actually having kitchen on both sides. When it's on both sides, we notice that it tends to look a little bit wider. So this already looks like a better living room space. But we actually prefer B5 because once you enter, there is actually some privacy and there's some space here for you to do storage. And similarly, you have a very big living room. So this two is actually quite similar, but this one very narrow, so we didn't even consider. In general, we're going to prefer B5 if price is not of a concern because this is 678 as compared to the B1, which is 657. So these 2 units are the ones that we would choose if you have a choice between these 5 unit types. And the prices we are looking at is starting from around 1.8 mil and ranges all the way up to about 2+ mil. So as you can tell, the price and it will vary also based on the size of the unit. So these are all based on 657. So we will expect it to be a bit more for the B5, which is 678 square feet. Moving on to the 2+ study at Promenade Peak, they have 3 different unit types, and what you will first notice is that the study is located right at the entrance in the foyer, along the walkway. This is not really a preference of ours, but after some thought, right, we figured that maybe this can be used as a collector's display unit as well as a storage. Because this is a very small space and you do not have a home shelter, so you could potentially use it as storage or to do up your glass cabinets to display your toy collectibles or even shoes that you really like at the entrance instead of the normal shoe cabinets.
To basically show off to your guests and all, right?
Yes, because you see, as you enter, this is the first thing that you will see. I do think that it does make a very nice place for you to showcase your things that you like, whatever your hobbies, and to really utilize the space. But if you were to ask me, would I use it as a study? I don't prefer it because without sunlight, it gets a bit claustrophobic sitting there. But with that said, we do have other units that have studies without natural light. So what is the difference is that because of the walkway, there's actually more space. If you notice in the previous studies that we've seen, if you enclose it, you can only put maybe a small table and a chair. You cannot sit back. So if you can tell nowadays, everybody like those secret lab chair, right? Those kind of study cannot put in for sure.
Exactly.
You cannot put a big table. But for this kind, if you put a big table, you still have ample space at the back to put your chair. So maybe this is also something of a bonus, I would say. It's not too bad, you make things work. And something I would like to say for Promenade Peak, why they have all this type of long entry walkway, right?
Why is that so? I also noticed about it.
So I was actually looking at their site plan. And because their site plan is one block and all the lifts are in the middle, it makes sense that in order to access their units, it all branches out this way, which resulted in so many long walkways and corridor. So I think it's just a side issue, the way they do the plan, because it's one tower, trying to maximize as much space and units, which is the reason why you have a bit longer and awkward looking corridors that they have tried to, as much as possible, put in a study so it's not total complete waste. But between these 3 layouts, because of the zigzag, right, you see, I prefer this one here, the last one, because the space just feels a bit more open, and also because the kitchen is like an L-shaped kitchen over here as compared to the ones that is like by the side. I think this one here makes it look more kitchen-like and livable for a 2+ study at Promenade Peak. So this one will be my top choice if we were to choose a 2+ study at Promenade Peak. Adding on, we also wanted to let you know, right, if ventilation in master bedroom toilet is a very important thing for you. The first 2 unit types would have it, but this one that we prefer in terms of layout for the living room is bigger and more spacious. This master bedroom doesn't have ventilation, so really a bit of a give and take. Because we have seen quite a few floor plans of late at Opus, Upper House and all this, right? This one is not my favourite layout for a 2+ study.
Moving on, we will have the River Green's 2-bed, 1-bath units. The sizes are actually slightly smaller at 527 square feet, which we have already seen earlier. But more importantly, we want to highlight that by the current industry acceptable requirements, we noted that River Green seemed to have ticked all the boxes itself in terms of having enclosable kitchens over here. And then with dumbbell layouts as well, which is these both walls are also hackable itself. For dumbbell wise, like we have mentioned, is actually good to maximize the entire space as well. And lastly, right, we also have a proper dedicated dining area itself over here. So in this sense, right, River Green seems to have a better layout for their 2-bedroom wise as well. Then one more thing to take note for the mid-floors on the average price for River Green's 2-bed, 1-bath. As we take a look over here, it's actually 1.68 million. Moving on, we'll be showing you the River Green's 2-bed, 2-bath units, and both layout wise, right, are actually very similar, apart from the external portion, right, whereby you see the AC latch over here. These are just the thing that is slightly different from comparing to the units itself. And we also like to note that prices are likely going to start from 1.7 million from the lowest and then going up towards the 2 million. As for the 2+ study units layout, we like that the floor plan is actually the typical sort of what has actually been preferred in the market at the moment itself, where there is an enclosable kitchen. So while it is subjective, if you will still prefer the study area at the master bedroom or near the entrance, either way it is actually enclosable for this study area itself. Or you still want to do like what Wana has said earlier, you can also display all those your toys and collectibles as well. Then one more thing to take note for 2-bed plus study over here at River Green, right? This actually dual access as well for the common bathroom itself. But one thing to take note, there's no ventilation for the master bedroom and common bath as well.
So right now we're going to do a comparison between the Promenade Peak and River Green. This is not a very good comparison in terms of the size because Promenade Peak's one is at 667 square feet, while River Green is at 603. But it's because this is the only similar size for River Green. So this is what we're going to take in comparison. So for this Promenade Peak, what we notice is that I think it's targeting more towards own stay because you can see that the master bedroom is 12.6. It's really very much more comfortable compared to the 10 in the master bedroom at River Green. So I think in terms of resale value, if you are looking to sell for somebody who's buying for own stay in future, right, they may actually feel that this master bedroom size will be a lot more comfortable compared to the one at River Green. Of course, it's a give and take because River Green, as always, they have the enclosable kitchen, which is tucked away at the corner, compared to the gallery kitchen at Promenade Peak. But with that said, it does make the kitchen look a lot bigger compared to the one at River Green. So it really depends on your lifestyle. I do think that people of this lifestyle and access to all this good food nearby at Great World, they may not do heavy cooking. So this might not be a deal breaker, because I think the room size being bigger is more important for own stay. So I think in this sense, River Green would be better for an investor. If you can rent out 2 ensuite bathrooms, that will fetch you a lot better. And of course, because at this size and this quantum, right, it will definitely be a bit cheaper, see 1.9 compared to like 2. So if the price is not too different, it really boils down to eventually, are you looking for capital appreciation or for rental yield? Because if it's for rental, I think this will be definitely better because it's smaller size, 2 ensuite bathrooms, I think it's a bit of a no-brainer. But if you're looking for own stay capital appreciation, I would actually go for Promenade Peak.
So right now we have the 2-bedroom plus study comparison side by side for Promenade Peak and River Green itself. So you notice that Promenade's Peak Unit 1 is actually bigger at 797 square feet, whereas for River Green's is 657 square feet. So typically, right, 2 plus studies units are bought with an intention of own stay, be it now or in future, perhaps after renting it out for a short while. So we feel that the space and layout wise is more important in this aspect as well. While both the projects have studies at the entrance area itself, over here and over here. So due to the layout, right, it seems like PP has a bit more of the wasted space at the entrance foyer walkway, which is over here. And then the kitchen itself is not very enclosable as compared to River Green itself. But one thing to take note, PP actually is a traditional layout over here. Typically most of the Singaporeans favourite as well. Whereas as compared to the dumbbell for River Green. So this actually gives them a bit more privacy itself. Then all in all, looking at the overall layout with the enclosed kitchen and having 2 ensuite bathrooms at River Green, that would actually be my top choice for the 2 plus study itself. So for this conclusion, right, is of course considering similar PSF, but if it reaches your turn during launch day and then there are only high floors remaining at the higher quantum of River Green, which is around 2.2 million, I may actually switch back to PP's lower quantum unit, which is at the lower floor itself. So you have to gauge and see, but if you really do not know, just try and reach out to us so that we can actually assist you and you have a better understanding as well.
So right now we are looking at Promenade Peak's 3-bedroom. I consider this like the compact unit. So this one here, the 1076, is the SHOWFLAT unit. If you go down with us, you can have a look right at the actual model. As you enter, this walkway is a bit narrower. You can see the living room, right, is like this. You actually have a balcony with a window over here. So you know you can actually cook food already, right? You can serve and have food over here at the balcony.
Food served while it's hot.
Yes, that's right. So if you put your dining table here, you know, it's quite cute. It's a bit like a bar counter. But personally, I actually prefer the Type C2, which is the 1033 square feet, because I find that the living room area here feels like it's less narrow. So I find that it looks a bit more spacious and a bit more comfortable. That would be my preference. Of course, it comes with a bigger balcony. You know, this balcony here is a bit of a wasted space. But thinking of lifestyles, I think people who like to dry their clothes can actually put their clothes right here to dry. So it's still away from the view from people here. It doesn't look messy when you're in the living room. But at the same time, it gives you a proper space to I would say it's almost like a storage / laundry area, so that might work as well. But mostly because I like that the living room is looks a bit more spacious. And for this, we are looking at the price point of starting from level 2 at about 2.89, 3.2, and a high of 3.47. This price actually does vary quite a bit depending on which floor you are getting. So it really makes sense that you get a smaller 1033 and then get a better unit at the slightly maybe lower price compared to if you would get the high floor of 1076. Next, we have the 3-bedroom premium. So for the 3-bedroom premium onwards, right, we have the private lift. The private lift is actually something that is quite sought after in the more premium districts. Clients of this caliber, right, they will actually need their privacy, I feel. So this is something they will like. For this unit type, you come in through here, then you will see that the living room is over here and dining is here. For me, I prefer the second unit type because when you come out from the private lift, you have a wider view of your living room and dining area, making it more grand and spacious. Because this one, when you come in, right, it looks as if your entire living room looks like that only. Then it kind of doesn't have that very grand feel. So comparatively, I would prefer the 1163 compared to the 1195. Also, they have a balcony together beside their living room. But why I also like this unit type more is because the kitchen area is very separate from the living area. So you notice that it's almost like a dumbbell shape, but your kitchen's on this side. Whereas this one has a very longish kitchen and very close proximity to your rooms. So I think if you cook and the food smell travels, right, then maybe the kids will come out faster because they smell the food, but it's not my ideal preference in terms of layout. So definitely the CP2 1163 square feet will be my preferred choice.
Moving on to River Green's 3-bedroom, there are actually 3 units type ranging from 786 square feet to 883 square feet. But there is a smaller 4-bedder sized at 900 square feet like we have shared earlier. So we will actually be comparing all these together. You can see over here. So this 786 square feet unit, right, is similar to all the others River Green's unit, which has an enclosable kitchen over here. And also one thing to take note, ventilation wise in both the master and common bathroom itself, as you can see over here and here. And one more thing to take note, right, for this layout, right, and the size itself, it actually starts from 2.2 million all the way up to 2.5 million itself. Moving on to the C2 type of River Greens, this is actually 872 square feet like I mentioned at stack 10. And this unit, right, is actually very similar, but one thing to take note, these actually have a slightly more longer entrance which ensures giving you more privacy as well. So as this unit, right, is slightly bigger, the starting price, right, is actually from 2.4 million all the way up to 2.8 million. Lastly, I would like to share with you the Type C3 of River Green's 3-bedroom. This is actually the biggest among all of the 3 layout, which is at 883 square feet of stack 2. Why I say this one has more privacy, if you take a look over here, this is a long entrance of the hallway, and one good thing is actually this is an enclosed kitchen itself. Ventilation wise in all the bathroom itself, as you can see over here and here. You also have a home shelter over here. So this is really a unit that is made for family profiles, and it actually checks all the box itself. And the price is starting from 2.47 all the way up to 2.8, which is almost 2.9 itself.
Moving on to the River Green 4-bedroom, you will notice that we term this as a 3+ study, and I'll show you why. Because after the master bedroom, right, this bedroom over here in the SHOWFLAT unit, you notice that they hack away these walls to make this master bedroom slightly bigger. And the reason being because this room is only 7 square meters. It's actually really very small. It's not going to be comfortable if you were to put in a bed. If you notice, there's no wardrobe within this room as well. So, with that said, right, it is going to be a very comfortable 3+ study, but I will not necessarily term it as a 4-bedroom because 980 is going to be very stretched if you consider this 3 proper common rooms, not possible. So this is 7 square meters, this is 8 square meters, and this is 9 square meters. How I will effectively use this room is that I will actually use this as one master bedroom, very spacious, very comfortable. And then I'll use this as a study because it's 8 square meters. And this will effectively be my only decent sized common bedroom at 9 square meters. With that said, we still don't really consider this a 4-bedroom in comparison to what's available, in the comparison to like Promenade Peak as well as neighboring projects. But it has very good things as well. It has an enclosable kitchen, which has ventilation for both the yard here as well as the toilet at the common as well as at the master bedroom. So fully ventilated, it still checks all the boxes as River Green as usual, and there's even a home shelter. So honestly, right, it actually has everything that you need. Dedicated dining space, So everything makes sense except for the part that this room is a bit smaller at 7 square meters. So with that said, I would say that when you select this unit, don't go into it thinking it's going to be a very luxurious 4-bedroom unit, because at River Green, the biggest one is also 980. So that's not what we are here for. We are here to see maybe like a 3+ study. I would think that's, if you frame it that way, you will accept it better when you look at the size especially. So it's starting from about 2.8, averaging at about 3.1 million, and a high of 3.2.
So here on we'll be comparing the 706 square feet comparison of the 2+ study and 3-bedroom compact, where in River Green you actually get the 3-bed plus 2 bath compact over here, as you can see, and this is actually Promenade Peak, 786 square feet of the 2+ study. There is a ventilation in all the baths in River Green itself, as you can see. And the other one is here. Whereas for Promenade Peak, right, there is only a ventilation only at the master bath. Whereas for the common bath area, we do not have any ventilation at all. So overall, right, if we are going to choose between these two, right, at a similar price, we will most definitely go with River Green itself. Reason why, right, it's because we are able to actually reconfigure due to all the hackable walls itself. So this actually sums up a selection. If we were to go with a lower quantum 2+ study, we will definitely choose the BS 1657 square feet at River Green, followed by this, the 786 square feet 3-bedder at River Green, before choosing the Promenade Peak 2+ study.
That's right. So I think this part is very important, that comparing these three together with the price, then we make a good decision on booking day. So comparing the 3-bedrooms at Promenade Peak and River Green, of course it's not a very good comparison in the sense that River Green, the biggest unit is also only 980 square feet. While the one that we prefer at Promenade Peak is at 1076. So we feel that the profile of these buyers who really need a proper 3-bedroom unit for own stay, right? We did the calculation based on the price prediction. It will be about a 200k difference between this unit and this unit. So if that is the case, right, for own stay, I think it's more likely that they will go towards Promenade Peak, for the reason that when you have the comfort of a bigger room and proper size common rooms, if you have 2 kids, it will be much easier. Because you imagine if they have this proper master bedroom here, and then one is a 9 square meters, one is a 8 square meters. Honestly, it's going to be very tight for the one in the 8 square meters. Maybe they have to like scissors, paper, stone, see which sibling goes there. Because that room will very unlikely be able to fit a table and bed comfortably. So for all these reasons, right, I feel that this one will be actually a more comfortable for own stay, as compared to D1, where you have an enclosable kitchen and all the things that make sense, but it's at the expense of a not very usable room. And also with that said, you have to actually pay to hack off this wall. And I think maybe just now we didn't mention, because the size of these 2 rooms are so small, right, it does not even come with the wardrobe. So you notice this one has a wardrobe, right? This 2 actually doesn't have a wardrobe. So with all that said, right, it means that yes, River Green is going to be very flexible. You can hack all the walls, reconfig to what you like, but it will also come at a cost, because it means depending on how you want to shift the walls, all this will cost money. But whereas this one, it's already proper room size, proper enclosed kitchen, and a very livable and nice spacious dining area. So I think all in all, I would still go for this unit in terms of own stay for 3-bedroom, because when we move to the next unit type, it's going to be a lot more expensive. So I think if anybody looking to own stay in this area during this period, this will be my favorite unit type. So why we didn't touch on the bigger units at Promenade Peak, because there is no comparison with River Green anymore, because River Green being the biggest unit at 980. For the benefit of this analysis, we decided that units that are bigger and above the 43 levels with private lift, you can speak to us directly, because this one really boils down to your personal preference, lifestyle and preference of views. So this one will require a bit more detail in understanding what you like, as compared to previously we can compare units at River Green, side by side. With that, we have concluded our analysis for today. I hope you have enjoyed it, and if you have any questions, please do reach out to us before the booking day, and also that we can help you with the submissions and the booking and balloting. So make sure that contact us.
See ya.
See you.